This is the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. And welcome everybody to this episode of the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. I am your host, John Allen, and today, I don't know if you can see her stubby little hands, but Snoopy's off to the, there you go. Hi, Snoop.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's kind of interesting, that allergy medicine I'm taking. I don't feel any symptoms, but when I look at my face on the monitor, I can see my eyes are swollen. We were out walking and stuff, but
right.
they don't itch or anything.
Huh. Well,
So-
it's working then. Pretty much anyway. The medicine, I mean.
Yeah, I guess I don't care if my eyes are swollen, as long as they're not itching and all that stuff.
I don't really see it.
I see it.
You got beautiful eyes.
Oh.
Yes, you do.
Why do you say these things?
Because I love you. And it was such a romantic walk this morning.
A romantic walk this morning. It was a lot of fun. Now, that's the first time in quite a while that we had a real walk. We had when NRK was filming us
Right.
the other day. But that was the first time we've had a real walk in about 3 weeks. And I've been kind of using the weather as an excuse. It's been raining.
But it was cold when NRK was here. It was freezing.
Yeah, but that's no excuse because, that's no excuse for us not to walk. And
That's true.
If we were walking, like
It wouldn't be
a
that
regular walk,
cold.
we wouldn't have been cold. We were
That's true.
sitting a lot of the time.
Yeah, and walking super slow.
Yeah. So by the time this episode airs, this will actually air on Saturday, and it's on Saturday evening
Norwegian
at
time.
1900 Norwegian time, which is, I guess it doesn't matter what time it is in the States. They're not going to be able to watch it. Anyway, 1 p.m. East Coast in the U.S., 7 p.m. or 1900 in Norway. There's going to be a little feature there's going to be a little feature of me on NRK News, primetime news on Saturday. And that was an interesting day. It was fun. It was very tiring, but it was fun.
Yeah. I'm sitting there thinking, though, I bet they could get it in, because it's just an app, NRK app on this app thing.
Okay, yeah, if you guys want, go check it out. You won't understand a word that's being said. It's all in Norwegian, but...
Yeah, but still, they'll see.
Anyway, as I was saying before... No, it was an interesting day, but it was very tiring. I think one reason that it was tiring was because... and hats off, shout out to Arnfinn Nygård, fantastic journalist with NRK, who was asking me some very good questions, making me think, putting me into that thinking box, making me, what are you doing?
Put your microphone more up.
My microphone is up.
Well, you're disappearing every now and then.
No, that's the gate. That's going to clip. Don't, Snoop. Leave the technical things to me.
I don't think so. I'm not so sure about that.
They can hear. This is a regular, organic conversation.
Okay.
You don't want me to swallow the mic like this,
Of course.
you filthy thing.
Well, that's
This isn't that kind of podcast. Stop talking dirty like
goodness. Get your mind out of the gutter, Miss Reeves.
that. Anyway, no, because he made me think about some things that I think about these things these questions he was asking, but for the purposes of expressing myself for this this profile that they were filming, I had to kind of go maybe a little bit deeper into detail than what I normally do on this podcast, for example.
Okay.
Talking about my feelings, about Johnny dying and things like that. Whereas on the podcast, I pretty much just talk about Johnny dying and how I'm dealing with it. But I think, and it depends on what they clip and how they edit it. So it depends on what will come out. But there were moments where I was talking more about my feelings, how I feel.
Well, that's a
Johnny
popular
being gone.
journalist question nowadays, it seems like. It's been for a few years. What did you feel when you saw that man being shot? what did
I
you
didn't
feel?
feel his.
That's
Yeah. But
anyway.
it was kind of a heavy day. I mean, I enjoyed it. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, it was like lightening the burden for during that time.
But
It was rough too.
Yeah, because that's why you initially started this podcast, wasn't it? In order to
At your suggestion, you told me, you've been telling me for years that I should do a podcast or get into radio or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Snoopy's my number one fan.
Yeah.
So I was upset and depressed, and I didn't know how to deal with Johnny's passing, and I said something along the lines, I need to find a new focus. I need to find something to not take my thoughts and my attention away from what had happened, but just to give me something else in addition to think about, start a new project or do something like that. And then you said something along the lines of I should stop thinking about doing a podcast, which I had been for some time before that, and I should just do it. So I did, and here we are.
And here we are.
This will be episode, 130, I believe? Yeah. Episode 130 in about 14 months of podcasting. That's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm no Joe Rogan. but
getting there. On your way.
Somebody said I was Norway's answer to Joe Rogan.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I've heard that a couple of times. I don't know if I can. I'm not insulted. I'm not insulted.
No,
in any
you
way.
should
That's
say
a great
thank
compliment.
you.
Oh,
you should
and
say
I do.
Thank you,
and
leave it at that.
And leave it at that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Joe's podcast. He has some interesting people. I don't agree with everything that his guests or he says, but I love that format where, people can just forget about being censored, forget about if anyone's going to be offended,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just talk. I love that format. That's what I do
you
here.
have, though.
That's what I do here. Yeah.
And you have interesting people.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of interesting people.
Like I said, this will be episode 130, and some people have been on a couple, 3 times, but for the most part, it's a different guest every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have some episodes where I'm solo as well, and then you come on. But in those 130 episodes, what I'm getting at is there's a lot of people that I have met and spoken with, and some of them have become good friends and good sources of inspiration. In fact, I'm inspired by every single one of them. That's why I ask them on, because they do something or they've said something or there's something about them that inspires me, motivates me. And that is a lot of knowledge to talk to that many interesting people. I mean, there's some cool people that I have spoken with.
It is.
Yeah. I mean,
and you're having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun. It's therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. It's
I cannot not be happy and have fun when I'm doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm happy and I have fun otherwise, but there's also the heavy moments outside of this studio. But when I'm podcasting, rest assured, I'm in my element and I'm happy. It's that's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to learn, trying to heal, trying to get better, trying to be better for others.
Yeah, and then you have gotten a lot of attention and in public attention in the media here in Norway, and you got that actually pretty quick.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you were interviewed last year, about a year ago. When all the riot stuff about after George Floyd, and all that, you were in the media quite a bit after that, and it's kind of
a lot
continued.
of radio, a Norwegian podcast, radio, TV.
Right, several TV.
What, 4? I've been 4 times on the TV, 5 times. 4,
I
5.
don't remember. Yeah, I'm not
3
counting
times on
anymore.
NRK, twice on TV. Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Something. Yeah, who's
Something
counting?
Like that. Who's counting? I'm not. Sure, I am.
Who are you kidding?
No, it's kind of been a whirlwind experience from last summer up until now. But it just tells me I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird when all of a sudden people want to hear what you have to say. It's strange. It's a strange feeling.
You know what? I don't think that's strange.
I do.
I don't think
I'm
so.
not saying it's bad.
No, but it's not strange. You're a smart man, and you do a lot of thinking.
Oh yes,
and
I do
you
do
are
that.
so good at wording yourself and expressing yourself in a a good way. You're diplomatic. You are very what do you say? Respectful to people, and you're smart. You're good at asking questions
Well,
so
thank
that
you, Snoop.
make people talk and open up a little and get the information out there.
I think
and
the
so
most
on.
important part of what
And
you
you
said
got a
there.
sexy voice.
Thank you.
Well,
Why are you
you're
always
welcome.
telling me to be quiet and stop it, Mr. Rees?
Well, you know, allt i sin tid.
Oh, yeah. All things in their own time, she says. No, I think the most important thing of what you said there is the thing about respect. You know, I respect other people and their views. That is so important because we have started to lose that for quite some time. I think something happened, I think it started in the United States with the previous administration, where the leadership in that administration, Trump, made it cool to be an ass.
Yeah.
Made it cool to be rude. Turned political correctness into a curse word almost. Stop being politically correct. They made politically correct overshadow the definition of just being kind and understanding. And it's spread throughout the U.S. and it's here in Norway too. Just look at the comments section on any news bureau here in Norway when they post something online. Just look at the comments section. It's so ugly.
Yeah.
And what happened?
The normal decency that you saw just 10 years ago, or not even that, it's gone. It's what happened to that? What happened to being nice and decent? Just decent.
Just decent, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be.
Don't kiss and hug all the time and all that.
Decent.
Yeah, just be decent.
It's almost like it's been made cool to be a jerk. And that's sad. So I try to do my part. You say I respect, others on my podcast. And I try to do that in life in general. But I think that's important. We need to see more people, I'll say, go out of their way to be kind to others. Because something has to combat this ugliness. The yin and the yang. There has to be balance.
Yep.
And something has to combat this wave of ugliness, this thread of meanness that's going throughout society, both here in Norway, but also back home in the States.
I'm wondering.
It's sad.
I'm wondering, the generation that's coming after us now, like our kids.
Yeah.
They seem to be more respectful and decent than the 40-year-olds and plus that are around.
They do seem to be. They're the ones that care.
Yeah, and they
about society, about the environment, about the political situation, about people.
Right, and they think.
Sometimes they're a little misguided, and they don't really understand
Yeah.
how to express that. With the cancel culture, for example, I call it the consequence culture. Sometimes that goes a little too far, and that's driven by that younger generation. maybe the older people in our kids' generation, the 20-somethings up to 30 maybe, those people. So, but I don't think they're misguided. I think they believe they truly are trying to make a change for the better. But you can't tell me that, how do I say this? I almost said you can't tell me that right wingers in the U.S. are trying to change things for the better. I think they're trying to change things for their own benefit, which is something that's totally different from the betterment of society.
A couple of things. I think that this social media thing, I think that people 40 plus, they don't really know, a lot of them don't really know how to act with social media and how to deal with it, basically. And there is kind of the root to the undecency that we see. But also, when you mention this, the right wing, what you just said, and
the far right extreme people in the
right, and the
Republican
rudeness
Party
and
of today,
ugliness and all that, and I got kind of like a little flashback back to nursing school when we had when we were learning about dementia, where people who has been very proper, very polite and nice and all that, all of a sudden change the personality where they become totally opposite. And of course, that's a physical damage, but it seems...
You talk about after some brain damage of a stroke
right,
or something?
Yeah, or just becoming dementia. It's it's a damage in your brain. But what I was going at is that it seems like, I wonder if some of these extreme right-wing people, are they kind of tired or something of holding their true inner things
I'll tell you what
back?
They're tired of, or it's not about being tired of something. I think they're afraid. They see the change in America. They see this younger generation coming up.
Yeah.
They see the rise in the number of new immigrants, and they're afraid of that. So they're getting desperate. So they're doing these crazy extreme things and coming up with these knucklehead, lowbrow policies to suppress this change that is coming. This change that is here. It's already, there's a reason why the Republican Party represents what I hear different things from 30 to 33% of the voting electorate. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, but I was...
They're a minority.
Yeah,
they are.
But
and that scares them.
But up until around 2015, around there, it seemed like even though they didn't like the changes, because the changes been going on. Well, I shouldn't say 15. It was actually before that. But the last 10 years or so, it seems like they are now, because I don't think that they all of a sudden got these thoughts. I think that the combination of social media...
25% of the American electorate is Republican.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
But I just looked that up. I wanted to clarify. I want to get my facts right.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah. See, now I lost what I was going to say.
Come on, girl. Focus.
Focus. Yeah, anyway. So, the last 10 years or so, there's been a big change, with Obama being a president, for instance.
Yeah.
And I think that...
You're talking about the fact that he was black.
Right.
Yeah, some of them people lost their minds because of that.
Exactly.
And never again they're thinking.
Yeah, but the changes has been going on, with all the way back from the 60s and all that. But I think the combination of social media and that they just tired of trying to be proper and nice and decent, and they can't take it anymore, so now they let it go, so to speak.
Now, I don't know about that, but I do believe that they fear the changes that are apparent. They fear the changes that they have seen, and I'm telling you, And it's funny because you'll hear some of them say, well, Obama made race relations worse. No. The race relations, if they were made worse, they were made worse because you couldn't stand that a black man was in the White House. Period. Just admit that. And I wish they would just admit that. Well, I get it that they don't, because they need to fool their electorate. They need to fool their followers. That's why they did all this stuff, calling Obama a Hitler, a closet Muslim, that he was a closet gay, and Michelle was really a man. That's why they couldn't stick to the facts. They couldn't admit that they just didn't like him because he's a black guy. So they got to come up with these other things.
They managed to keep a distance to that part.
That's why they can claim to not be racist and get away with it, because they had a good cover story, and they still do. And when I say they, I'm talking about the leadership in the Republican Party. I have friends who I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure from what they say they voted Republican, and I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, no.
I question it.
No,
I do.
Yeah,
I question it. I don't have a problem with it per se. I'm not going to lose friends because they vote Republican, but I have lost friends because they've in a way gotten, I almost said pornota. They've almost gotten, it's almost like they've gotten a thumbs up. Oh gosh, okay, it's okay to say these racist things.
Right.
Okay, yeah, it's okay to say these homophobic and transphobic things. Yep. And then they start saying them, and then they're gone. I can't deal with anybody like that. I won't deal with anybody like that. But if you lean Republican in your politics, that's not an issue with me, but it's become an issue for a lot of people. If you're Democrat and your friend is Republican, you just can't speak to each other anymore. And I just think
that's wrong. I don't, it's like we have so many different political parties, and it doesn't matter, what you vote. Just be decent, just be a nice person, and vote what you want, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It matters what you vote.
But not, I voted a party that you don't like.
And I almost left you too.
Well, you didn't.
No, but that's a perfect example. But you hear a lot of people. It's become a curse word to call someone a liberal. It's almost like a curse word, and it's just gotten so ugly. And I think all of that started because people lost their minds because Obama was president, a black man was president, and then Trump. He has almost this snake-like intelligence, where he saw the
intelligence.
Yeah, he saw this. Look, he's very ignorant and he shows very little intelligence about a lot of things, but he does have this instinct, this snake-like instinct type of thing, where he saw the climate in the United States and he knew what to say and do to use that to his benefit. It put him in the White House.
Yeah.
That is an achievement. It's a horrible, disgusting achievement, but he did get it done. And I hope I think America learned something. I think the very fact that this man did not become president for the second time shows that America learned something. You cannot be complacent. You cannot be lazy. You cannot not vote, because when you don't vote, the other side will win.
Well, I'm not so sure that they learned, because if they you just go back to the between the First and the Second World War. You have the history there, and you can definitely see the same, like the red line that was then, how it brought Hitler to power.
Yeah, but we're talking about America now.
Yeah, but if those a lot of Republicans, if they knew about that history, if they remember that from their history books, they would have recognized Trump and what he was doing and what he's all about.
But one thing of the Republican Party does that makes them so strong is they are history deniers. They are history manipulators. Look at them. They don't even want to acknowledge the Tulsa massacre from 1921. They
Or go back
they
even
don't
closer,
wanna-
the 6th of January.
Oh, the 6th of January. Yeah.
Right.
So they have this thing where they want to deny or rewrite history. You have that knucklehead Rick Santorum saying that Native Americans have zero to contribute. They have contributed nothing to America up through our history. You have I have friends who have rolled their eyes and walked away when I mentioned things like Tulsa. They refuse to believe that happened. Yeah. So that's the climate that we're in. So I guess I'm doing my part to shine a light on that and to amplify truth and positivity. And I put my story out there along those lines. My whole thing about Johnny and everything. There's still people who tell me that, oh my gosh, I can't believe you talk about that so openly. Well, I couldn't believe I spoke about it openly when I first started speaking openly about it. But I see the benefits of that, both for myself and for other people who could possibly find some comfort or some inspiration or a new idea on how to deal with a similar situation. So that's why I podcast. To gain that knowledge for myself, but also put knowledge on the table for others. There's a plate full of good old knowledge. Eat it up, people. Don't let it spoil. Eat that up and see. And I'm not trying to say I'm some kind of guru, because it's not so much me as it is the conversation I have with my guests.
Yeah.
That's where there are things that I've definitely learned from through these conversations with my guests. And my hope is that other people can learn something as well. And I was laughing earlier when you were talking about dementia, but it's not because I was laughing at dementia. I was laughing at your cute little ways of mispronouncing things in your phrasing. And then I started thinking, and I almost was going to interrupt you and tease you about it, but then I thought maybe I should be a little quiet, because this episode is going to air the same day that news thing will air. And I keep thinking, oh my gosh, what if they text my Norwegian because it's bad? And then you would never let me hear the end of that, so I can't. No, I did notice as the day went on, and the more tired I got, and my shoulder was aching and all that stuff, that it got harder and harder. I'm very comfortable speaking Norwegian, but speaking Norwegian at that level for that purpose for that many hours in a row was rough. I felt it. I felt it.
Well, it's.
But as long as they don't text me.
Yeah, but it's also because you're out of practice. You haven't spoken Norwegian.
That's true.
That long, because you used to do it all day long.
All day long, every day. But now, since working from home,
Norwegian is perfect.
Yeah,
it is.
But now working from home, and speaking only English here at home, which I will continue to do.
Except when you say upp. Jeg skal ringe deg upp.
Jeg skal ringe deg upp. What's wrong with that?
No, it's just funny.
Why?
Because up.
But I don't speak Norwegian to you guys. I speak English to you guys.
No, but I hear when
when I'm on the phone or something.
Right. Jeg skal ringe deg.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, upp.
Up.
Yeah, but I say up, but that's not wrong.
No, it's not
that's
wrong.
Dialect.
But it doesn't. Yeah, well,
it doesn't.
It's just funny.
Yeah, but why is it funny? It's your language. Do people in Norway say up instead of up?
Some people do.
Okay, so it's not wrong what I say.
No, it's not wrong. It's a dialect.
I speak what I heard.
Yes, you do.
If you want to blame somebody, you blame hellbillies. You blame Lars Håvard, Aslaug, and Arna. They're the ones that write that mess.
Yeah.
I'm the one that listens to that mess, which then led me to speak that mess. So it's not my fault. Hey, I'm just a child of my environment, okay?
Yeah. But listen, we're going to cut this short because I'm going to go out and work on my porch.
Oh, okay. This is the Comin podcast with Snoopy.
Yes.
You make the decisions. No, but this was a good conversation. It did me well to have it.
Good. I'm
Talk
glad.
a little bit about why I podcast and the meaning behind it and everything.
And I think it is important to say when it comes to grief
grieving.
Yeah, that
Gosh, don't
it
text
is-
my Norwegian, please.
that it is different from each person, and a lot of people, when somebody they know have lost somebody close, like tragically. I'm not talking about maybe losing an old grandparent, but more like losing. What happened to the sound?
Nothing. Just speak into the microphone.
Anyway, a lot of people are afraid of approaching that person who has lost somebody and just say something like, "Hey, I'm sorry for your loss. How are you? How are you doing? I'm thinking about you." Those things, and it's so important to do that, even though it maybe feels uncomfortable. Just do it anyway, because for a lot of people, I think not talking about the person who died is and noticing people crossing the street to avoid you because you lost your child.
Yeah.
That hurts even more.
Well, I can speak on that briefly because I know you want to wrap this up. If we can go back to, because when Johnny died, I had no way to be involved in his burial. I found out after the fact that, okay, on this day they had buried him.
Right.
And when my good friends
Oh my gosh.
came here, that was one of the most beautiful things that anyone has ever done for me. My friends came over here and gathered up and had a memorial service here at our home. Yeah. I got to say their names.
I was just thinking about say their names.
It was Henning Remme, Øystein Remme, Lasse Hafreager, Ivar Stendal, and Elin Eggen. Mm-hmm. And Elin took her guitar with her and sang and everything. And it was just beautiful. And that is true.
Was beautiful.
That is true compassion right there.
Yep.
I that is probably the most truthful compassion I've ever felt in my life. Mm-hmm. Those people gave me a lot of love on that day. And I can say this as well. Just yesterday, my good friend Raymond called me and said, "Hey, man," he basically said he can see that I'm struggling. And this is very unusual because Norwegians don't get deep
we're
like
cold
this.
People.
But Raymond told me that he can see that I've been struggling. He's impressed that I continue doing my podcast, but he sees that I'm struggling and he just wanted to check in and hear my voice. Is that beautiful?
That's so nice.
That is what he said. Yep. And that was, it was made even more beautiful because that's quite unusual for Norwegians. You guys don't get down on that level. Mm-mm. Well, but he's from Northern Norway, so that says a lot.
We do, but we have to kind of... I probably should answer this phone, but anyway, we do, but we have to know you very good,
It's still ringing.
I was too
okay,
late,
we're going to wind this up.
Back.
Snoop's got to go. I'm losing my guest here. So this has been, Coffee Talk with Snoopy for this episode of the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. For those of you, don't lean into the camera. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pixelate your face again. Can I get a quick, here, give me your paw.
I'm not going for that one again.
Screenshot. I need a screenshot. I'm serious. Just give me your hand. Come on.
My hand, yeah.
There.
All right. Well, goodbye now.
For those of you who are listening or watching, please look at the comments section of this episode, and that will show you where you can donate. We appreciate your donations. I'm just a guy trying to survive here. If you appreciate the content, throw in $1 or $2 or 100, whatever you'd like to do. I'm just joking, but you can find ways to donate in the comments section of this episode. Subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. Be well, be loved, and love. Bye now. Okay, Snoop.